Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday? No. Yes. Happy Wednesday. Hello, if we haven't met before, I call my members tell me that I do all the time. My name's Kate, and I do this. Welcome to Sip and Share. We are streaming in lots and lots of lovely places, including our Facebook group, our page, Gin Swap, the Gin Club Facebook group. Oh, look, there's lots, and YouTube as well. And tonight, it's a little bit different, and it's even more special. Hi Donna, hello lovely. Because today, look, I've tried to get some angular thing going on. Look, I've tried to look all posh and sophisticated for Callum because I think he is quite posh and sophisticated. I just get a feeling. So I've tried to do like an angle thing. And then this one was very close to the edge. And you're the strong one. So you should be able to hold your own. So don't go falling down. I appreciate I'm talking to a bottle of 57% rum. Anyway, so tonight we are talking to Callum from the Custom Spirit Co. Can you see this? And I just have to shout out really quickly, look how cute they are. Look, with a little hole in the bottom, which feels slightly weird. My brain's going in different directions, but they stack. Anyway, hello, Facebook user. I don't know if it's Taya, I don't know. But join in for the rum ride. Why have I not used that phrase in the past 18 months? I don't know. I think Callum is going to be a perfect balance of scared and impressed. Let's find out. Hello.
It's trending towards scared, but we're good to go.
Did I not reveal this side of myself being slightly crazy? Did you not see that when we spoke?
Oh, no, I did. But it's welcome. The enthusiasm runs wild. So,
well, the way I feel like from the beginning, I need to give you the description of this one. So this is the only one that I have tried, and I was keeping it in a trying sort of way. And I described this as it tastes delicious, expensive, and posh.
that's an interesting way to describe it. So I can see what you're getting at with the expensive taste. It's kind of like a rich marzipan quality to it from tonka bean and things like that, and a little bit of the cinnamon in there too. But I don't think it's still too expensive. I mean, we're very much in the price range of spiced rums. I mean, you can see some rums run wild into like the hundreds of pounds mark. So we're definitely not up there yet.
It's got, oh good lord, it's got I describe you as when I talk about you behind your back, Callum, in a nice way, which I do. I'm to be straight with you. And I talked about you today. I said, I'm chatting to this chap called Callum tonight from Custom Spirit Co. Very clever. I just feel you're very clever. And maybe that's where I was going with this. It's a clever execution. There we go.
I'll take that. I think that's a lovely compliment. I'm glad that our bottles come across that way. I think when we did all the designs ourselves. Well, I say we. That's almost a royal we. Jason, the business partner who's with me on this, he is the one who designed everything. So everything from labels to branding, the entire thing from the ground up was us. So it's quite nice for it to be received like that, and it puts a smile on our face every time someone says the branding looks great. Because one of the things about not leaning on a branding agency means that it kind of gives us a little gold sticker ourselves that we did do well when we didn't rely on others for it.
And can I also just compliment your bottle choice, because I like a bottle with a strong shoulder, which I know sounds a weird sentence, but this is like the nuance, just a little flat bit there on the bottle.
They're great. Good.
Well done, Jason and team.
Miraculously, a happy coincidence, they're so much easier to label. So we do all the labeling ourselves by hand.
Yeah.
Having a bottle that doesn't roll away from you is honestly a blessing, because otherwise you just begin to lose the plot when you're trying to keep up with the bottle that's trying to make a getaway.
Yeah, no, good shout. Well considered. See, that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about, Callum. So anyway, Callum,
it was a happy accident, really.
Don't tell him. Don't tell anybody. Other than complimenting you on the fact that tastes expensive, but as Louise Tilsley has just said, tasting expensive and being expensive are two different things. Correct. Tell us about Custom Spirit Co. Who are you? Where are you in the world? Give us a pitch. Tell us who you are.
Okay, so the Custom Spirit Company was born out of us not being able to make decisions in some regard. So we set out we wanted to make rum, and that was the get-go of it all. Me and Jace had talked about making rum for ages. We'd always wanted to do it. coming from an engineering background myself and him from a gin distilling background, we always knew that in the future we'd find a way to do something along these lines. But then the custom nature of it all came from this indecision that when we started making the rum, we came up with, I honestly think, over 100 different recipes. And we gave them out, and you got friends and family opinion, and there'd always be ones that were loved and there would be ones that were disliked. But they always seemed to find someone that, even if it was disliked by everyone, someone would say, oh, no, that's my favourite. And it just kind of further confirmed that everyone's tastes were different. And you were looking at all these different products and all these different blends, some of them to my taste, some of them not. But every single one seemed to find someone that said, oh my God, that's amazing, you have to make that one. And after making them all, we landed on this idea of, well, why don't we try and come up with a process that lets people make their own? And people don't usually do that because contract distilling exists, and you can go out and if you're a big brand, you can pay someone to make your rum or your gin or whatever, really. But they're usually hundreds to thousands of bottles. I mean, to be a reasonable price that you could really sell, it's usually in the thousands, which is ridiculous. I mean, you or I probably don't drink 1,000 bottles in our lifetime, maybe. But
you went with lifetime, Callum. I was going to go with a year, and then I realised you said thousands. So yeah, no.
Okay. that's good. I'd be worried otherwise. But so then that's where the custom idea came up with, and we came up with the process where we would make these singular bottles, and we could essentially make down to even the little miniatures we can make individually. So that gives us the opportunity. Well, I say the little miniatures, it's slightly more than those, but we end up with a little bit to taste.
That's a lot of hard work, and I know you work really hard, but that is a lot of hard work to do a custom 5 centiliter mini. I think that would, I mean, that would be like, I think we can accept you'd be priced out if you were trying to do a custom 5 centiliter mini.
To some degree, but when you do the custom orders and things like that, you do have an opportunity to go through the whole loop, and you get to try the little minis before you buy the big ones to make sure you love what you're making. Because I think it's a hard thing to go out there and put your finger up in the air and go, yes, I like those flavors, which is why we came up with the signatures, and which the 4 that you've got there. And that's kind of how they came about, was that we wanted to give people a litmus test to go, yes, I like that. No, I don't like that. And that's why they're all quite different. Although you say you've only opened one, so you haven't actually managed to try the others.
I'm going to do it now because I've got shot glasses. I mean, it could get into a very messy Wednesday night, but I've got shot glasses, no mixer, and ice and rum. I mean,
I mean, you've gone down the right way. I would have said to put one of them in the freezer, though. Now you have to guess which one.
Oh God, which is your favorite? So let's tell everybody what we've got right quickly.
So
we've got Rum Rise. Where is it?
So that's a tropical spiced rum. So this one's made with a 2-year and an unaged blend. So this is quite a light and grassy base that's used to make this rum. Made with a little bit of sugarcane juice, not just molasses. So gives it a slight vegetal grassy notes in there. Then that rum is infused with pineapple, coconut, citrus, and ginger. So the citrus is orange and lime peels, which is why it's got a little bit of similarity to a rum. Sorry, not to a rum, to a gin, which is why it mixes well with tonics. So it's quite light and fruity.
That's nice.
And the little bit of ginger in there gives it some warmth.
Oh no, I've just got a glass. I've just remembered. Glass stopper. I was just going to put it. Glass stopper, very nice. Do you know what I was about to say, Callum? It's funny that you know all the ingredients, but it's because you make it, Kate, isn't it? Because Callum actually, when did you start? You said that you and Jace, and by the way, I love the fact that you and Jace were like, we're going to make rum together. Like, just tell us a bit about that side of things. Like, how did you and Jace meet? Jason.
So we went to university together. We actually still live together. He's probably about 10 feet that way, making it different.
Jace, come on, get him, shout him at some point.
I'll get him at some point. I know he's cooking at the moment. Jace has been working very hard distilling today, so I've been the designated interviewee.
He sent you in. That's very nice. It's got like a little fruit thing going on.
So for that one, I'd recommend, it's okay on its own. Don't get me wrong. It can be sipped, but tonics and lemonades, the sweeter your tooth, if you push you towards the lemonade. If you like something a little bit drier, tonic, probably an Indian one with a big wedge of orange in there. Other than that, I found that it makes really nice pina coladas, and the benefit to putting it in a pina colada is a little bit of ginger in there. It goes really well with the coconut and the pineapple to give it like a little kick. Just a little bit something more than if you just did it with like a white rum.
Well, as I have absolutely no tonic in the house, which I know is ironic, bearing in mind what I do for a living, other than aromatic tonic, pina colada for that one is the answer. And I've got pina colada. We can do that.
That would be my recommendation. So we've been through the summer. We bought a horsebox bar. So we've been taking that to events. We did a few different food festivals, some with a group called the Local Food Festival, another few with Foodies Festival, which are obviously quite a big group. So we went around and did events with them, and pina coladas and mojitos, I think, were our top 2 sellers, except for one day, which I don't know if you remember however long it was ago, but just before it became really cold. I think at the end of September, beginning of October, we had that really wet and windy weekend. We were up in Chelmsford, and that weekend, as soon as we saw the weather forecast, it was blowing a gale. We were literally one of the few stalls left open because we were a horse box. Meanwhile, gazebos were blowing away. That weekend, we did hot toddies and Jamaican coffees, and it was a great winter vibe, which we're really looking forward to because we're doing some winter events coming up soon. But that was the only weekend where the pina colada didn't sell well, and I can kind of understand why.
And actually, just on the subject of cocktails, on the back of all of your minis, are they on the back of the full bottles as well? Yeah,
it is indeed.
On the back, you've got QR codes, and if someone scans the QR code, it goes through to your website with cocktail.
Yep.
Probably with
so it goes to the website, tells you all the ingredients in it. So it tells you, like, we use a scale of 1 to 10, although it's soon to expand further, for how much of each ingredient's been put in the bottle. So you can kind of get an idea for, this bottle is, for example, in the case of rum rise, you can see that there's a lot of pineapple and coconut in there, a little bit of citrus, and then a little bit of ginger. However, the good thing about this, compared to like what I think other brands do, is that it gives a bit of transparency, because you might taste a rum or a gin, and you go, oh yeah, I love it, but maybe a couple of ingredients. There's usually a list of like 10 to 20. We've kept ours quite simple, although you can make it more complex, and we are looking to do some more abstract ones in the future. But you really know what's in your bottle, and you can really put your finger on, oh yeah, that's that, and that. There isn't those layers of obscurity.
And I guess that helps with regards to on your website. And I know you've given us an amazing offer on Sip and Share on all of these. Plus, there is an offer coming on the custom part of your website. If you've got, as a consumer, if you've got kind of transparency, or you have a clear understanding of what's in it, that means you can change the scale on your website, can't you? So I think you said to me before, many people use these signatures as a base and then decide that want more tonka or more caramel or whatever, and they do that.
That's kind of what we advise people to do, because we say that it's kind of hard to go out there, and you might get it right. And we've seen some great recipes that we think people have just gone out wild and come up with something good. And the guided process on there does make it somewhat easy, although it isn't the easiest if you don't know what flavors you like and what you dislike. But you can just start with any of these, and when you scan the QR code, there's 2 buttons at the bottom. One says go to store, the other says edit. If you press edit, it asks you to create an account so that it can like link it all up together. And then once you've done that, it puts you in the blender, which basically will then show you that recipe for that bottle, that signature, and you can take away, add, as you said. So at that point, it's really easy to just tweak it and go, oh yeah, I want to add, for example, in one of them, the blend special breakfast, which is my favorite and currently here. We've seen people add orange to it and make it kind of like towards a Terry's chocolate orange flavor, because it's got like cacao and coffee and a little bit of orange added. So you can see the kind of thing that it makes it quite easy to just do a little tweak and come up with something new.
That's quite brave on your part, though, isn't it? Because as a consumer, are you saying that you can literally, I could add orange to this and do the chocolate orange vibe, and I can just order one bottle?
Yeah, but the thing is, we make all of our bottles one by one, even the signatures. So for us, or for me, it doesn't matter if it's a bottle of my signature or it's a bottle of a custom blend. It's the same amount of kind of effort and time goes into it, because we make them all bottle by bottle. You disregarded the shot glasses then.
Can't be asked with the shot glass. That is so nice.
This one is my favorite. I'm a coffee fanatic to some degree. Every morning starts with putting the coffee on. And so as a result, the one that's coffee focused has become my favorite.
That is absolutely gorgeous. Is this the one that you make the Jamaican coffee with?
It is. So a double of that, a double of Baileys, and a long coffee is usually the route to go.
That sounds amazing.
You do have to put a bit of sugar in there though, not too much though, otherwise it'll end up really sweet. The sugar in the rum and the sugar in the Baileys are just about enough, but I've got a little bit of a sweet tooth, so I add a spoonful still. But
So,
a
special
gentleman.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Why is it called special breakfast? Because our rich and subtly sweet golden rum base enhanced with silky blend of coffee, cacao nib, banana, and tonka bean. So the coffee is but it's not strong coffee. Like, I don't think if somebody doesn't like coffee, I would go, oh my God, stay away from this.
I think it's one of those ones where it's like a middle ground. It's coffee focused. It's coffee and cacao, really, the two main things you're going to taste in there. But because they're quite like in tandem, if you don't like coffee, the cacao can easily lead it. This one's really one that personally I drink it neat with maybe a piece of ice, but it mixes really well with like Coke, because what happens when you mix it with Coke and the sugar in like a full fat Coke specifically is that slight bitterness that you're tasting from the cacao drops away and it turns into like a really rich, mouth-filling kind of silky chocolate, which I really like. And we've had people say, oh my God, I can't believe it's just a rum and Coke. It tastes so good. Because what they're used to is like a normal rum that complements the Coke, but also it's not like built for it. Whereas this one, because it's not got as much sugar in as like a normal spiced rum, when you mix it with something sweet, it doesn't become overwhelming. Because if you drank a load of rum and Cokes all night, you probably end up in the morning feeling pretty hungover, mainly because of the alcohol, but also because of the sugar. So the reduction in the sugar in the rum helps with that. So it's actually quite a clean drink in some regards. I have drunk quite a bit of it. It doesn't give you the same hangover as something with a lot of sugar in there, although it is what we would consider in our range quite sweet.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I get that. It's definitely got a sweetness to it. I don't want to mess with it at all. I just want to drink it like this. I think it's absolutely gorgeous.
I completely agree. Which is what I've got.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And we've to the first one as well.
Which one?
The first one? So different to the
to rum rise. Yeah, they are. Yeah. And this is what I was getting at when I said that we wanted to create them to be like different areas of spiced rum, because I think spiced rum gets a bit of a bad rap, although it's getting better and people are coming out with more interesting ones. People have done gins and there's such a wide variety. You say gin and people go, oh, which gin? People say spiced rum, you don't think that. You just think, oh yeah, spiced rum. And you instantly think of like a classic vanilla and cinnamon, maybe a bit of cardamom and tonka bean, like similar to the flavors that are in the 114 proof, because that's more of our classic. But it's very much down the Captain Morgan's route of things, because that's the spiced rum that's been popular for so long.
Someone says, is it a mocha? Like a mocha. It's got like a coffee chocolatey, but it's not.
It's towards that, I guess. It's not nearly as sweet as a mocha. But,
no, it's not. I can see why people would add orange to it. Like if you just added a bit of orange peel to it, I think that would be interesting.
It's really nice, like just on its own in those kind of things. It's orange peel, I think, is more suited to 114. Which is the one we haven't got to yet, because it's got a lot of cinnamon in there. So the kind of like the classic cinnamon and orange. So like you do it towards like an old fashioned where you burn the orange peel. But that might just be me thinking about it all a bit too much, because we've recently been making quite a lot of old fashions with it.
All I know, Callum, is if anybody drinks alcohol, they should be very jealous of me right now. I'm just gonna say that. Okay, so special breakfast. What was the order, by the way? Which came out first?
They all launched on the same day, so all at once.
And what date was that again?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, May 1st, I guess, was the official day that we started. Although I'd have to look it up because we launched at a market, so it might not have aligned straight on the 1st of May. It started on a Saturday, whatever the first Saturday in May was.
First Saturday last year or this year?
This year.
This year. Oh my goodness me.
So we the brand, the labels and the brand say 2020 because we established the company in 2020, but we spent I want to say the best part of I think we were just under 9 months getting it right, and then there was like that kind of weird period where we weren't sure if we were going into lockdown again at the beginning of the year, and we were like, oh my god, it's probably not the best idea to launch a rum brand where we don't know who will be selling, where bars will be open, all those kind of like the places where we'd look to put our bottles. So we kind of held fire for a few months, continued refining, kept going with everything developmental wise, but didn't start selling despite being kind of ready. And I'll be honest, sitting on my hands for those few months was really nerve wracking because I was so excited to launch.
I bet you were. So what do you you mentioned that Jace is from a gin background and you're from an engineering background. Do you both do Custom Spirit Co full time now, or you still do?
We're both part-time, so at the moment we spend a few days a week doing this. We spend a few days a week doing other jobs. So Jace works for another distillery in those few days, so he's busy distilling probably every day of the week. Meanwhile, I work as a consultant, so I've just left engineering. Actually, I'm working more project managery side now, so slowly going into the more business side, which is kind of where I work. Although I obviously do a lot of the distilling with Jace and all the kind of fun bits around that, I still sit back from it a little bit and do more business side of things. He's definitely the production lead, whereas I'm the making the numbers work lead.
So next time we need a picture or a video rather of Jace and the still, because you've also said, well, I'll tell you what, we'll do the other two, and then you can tell us about what has landed in the UK today. I think you said earlier. So this is an interesting one. Mojo Spiced Rum, 40. This is 45%. The other two are 40s, and this one's 45. Tell us about this.
So that one's, as the name suggests, being Mojo, it's made for mojitos. So it's a lime, mint, and vanilla rum. So this one, this is the one that I was like joking earlier, probably should have kept it in the freezer. If you're going to drink it neat, this one needs to be ice cold, in my opinion.
Oh, God. Okay, well, right, here we go. Okay, why is that? That's interesting. Why does it need to be ice cold? What makes you say that?
It's a little bit, well, it doesn't need to be ice cold, but I think it's much nicer that way, because the good thing about the mint is it's really refreshing and it kind of clears your palate out. It's a lovely after dinner drink, like a proper digestive, because you sit down and at the end of it you feel completely refreshed. But the mint in it, if it gets warm, quite like a lot of spirits, you don't want to drink it warm.
Yeah.
But the mint catches you a little bit, kind of hits you in the nose. It's very aromatic, quite herbal. Whereas if it's cold, it just gives that refreshing, minty, like cleanse. So the colder it gets, the better it gets, in my opinion. Although it makes really nice mojitos, which is what we made it to do. If you've been quite heavy-handed with that pour by any chance.
I just filled it up. Like, I don't know what I thought I was doing. I'm tasting it. Anyway, it's a Wednesday. It's fine.
But yeah, mojitos, daiquiris, those kind of like light fruity cocktails, we're going to mix it. Otherwise, we usually recommend to keep it in the freezer, like keep it like a proper, like if you're going to have a vodka, not a good vodka, because you could probably just drink it at room temperature, like a bad vodka. But then the colder it gets, the nicer it gets, because the mint becomes this more like, I don't know, herbal, clean, like refreshing taste, and goes beyond what it is when it's just like at ambient or with a piece of ice temperature.
Okay, I'm going to leave it sat there for a moment. Did you create the Rum Rise, so which is the tropical-y one, and the Mojo one specifically for cocktails? Like, did you have cocktails in mind? Do you do a lot of cocktails in the horse box and stuff?
So the Mojo was created with cocktails in mind. Rum Rise, we were more thinking, we wanted to capture the interest of gin drinkers, because a lot of people, they say, oh yeah, no, I don't like rum. I've never drank it. It's not my thing. And we wanted something that was like citrusy and quite fruity with a little bit of a ginger kick, so that it could appeal to them. And we could go, oh, but try this. And it goes well with tonic, because to them, that's their natural mixer. They've probably got tonic in the house, although apparently you don't right now, which is odd. But
tell me about it.
But yeah, that was the idea behind Rum Rise, and it's because of the pineapple and the coconut in it. It goes really well into those kind of like light, fruity cocktails as a result.
I've spoken to a few brands that have got products that aren't out yet, mainly gin distillers, gin producers, who are always looking for what is that product that moves the gin drinker over to rum. And I talk a lot about the rum journey. You know, people go on a gin journey, don't they? And they start with their cheaper products and their Gordons and their flavored gins, and then they move and they get more London Dries, and then their palate expands. And the same with rum. Like you said, you start with spiced rum, but this is going to be, when we organise it, you will be our first rum tasting, exclusive rum tasting. And it'll be really interesting for everyone to buy this tasting pack, which I know Lorna is going to sort out on the website. If she hasn't already, she's on it, because you know you were emailing her today. The tasting kit with these in your new mini gorgeous box, which you're having made, to do our first rum tasting. Taya has just said, I'm very inexperienced with regards to rum. where would you suggest I start?
It all depends on what you like, because if you're inexperienced to rum, but you know you love like a coffee or a dark liqueur or something like that, I'd start at like the special breakfast end of things. If you're like a religious gin drinker and you like something fruity, like it's really between Mojo and Rum Rise, whether you like something more minty and herbal, kind of like a refreshing, or you like something more tropical with a little bit of citrus notes in there for something more Rum Rise. I'd probably say start with one of those three. 114, the stronger 57% one, maybe wait until you're a little bit deeper into the rum avenue, just because at 57% it's going to pack a little bit of a punch. The majority of the bottle's alcohol. I mean, I love it. I think it's one that really appeals to whiskey drinkers. But if you're someone who's like inexperienced in rum, it might be a bit of an abrupt entry.
The irony of that's where I started. So when we do our rum tasting, well, this order probably, I feel like for Taya, starting with the Rum Rise, which is the tropical. So we have a gin. There's a company called Little Quaker Distillery who we love and have worked with before, and they do a tropical gin with some of those flavour profiles in it. So I reckon Rum Rise, then Mojo. We'll do a cocktail session. I'm planning it all out, Callum. You see, you and Jace are doing something. Get your cocktail thing on. Special breakfast, and then the 57% ABV, which is the where I started in the first place. This, by the way, is very nice. I see what you mean about the cooler it gets, the kind of brighter the mint.
Yeah, it's honestly, I love Mint Day in the distillery because everything smells amazing. So we have it all in a big freezer. So we went and got all of our mints from a farmer in Surrey. So we bought it all in bulk. So we came back with so much of it in the summer when all the mint was growing. So the freezer is just chocked full of mint. So you open it up. It's amazing. It all smells great. But on the day when we're infusing all the mint, everything smells amazing. But the thing is, it starts off when we do it, we make like a mint concentrate to try and get all the flavor out as best we can. It's like emerald green. So I've actually ruined a couple of bits of clothing. So all of our stuff's black now because we previously the mint in it never comes out. Never ever.
mint coloured clothing.
Yeah.
So the last one in the range. Why did you do a 57%? So why did you do this?
Is a specific percentage that was used in the Navy rations of rum, and the reason is if you spilt a 57% rum on gunpowder, it will still catch fire and go bang. Whereas if it's below 57%, you'll ruin the gunpowder. So it's kind of like a little nod of the hat to some degree to all of that kind of heritage around the Navy rations and the great history that rum has. So that was the inspiration of we wanted to make a stronger one. We wanted it to pack a punch like it used to. We wanted to be a bit more refined than the Navy rations, as we've quite often said to someone, oh, it's inspired by the Navy rations, to some old fella who's clearly been in the Navy, and he goes, that was nothing like it. Because the stuff they had back then was almost paint stripper. It was 57%, but it took the back of your throat out. So we tried to make it a little bit more refined than that, maybe just an inclination of that degree, but not the fire water that they used to drink on the boats.
So most people bring their Navy strength out slightly later, but you guys just went with a full confident move with all four straight away. So that's
so I mean, I think the first, as I said, we kind of launched this market back in May. It was in Horsham. So we're based in West Sussex. I think we've somehow skipped over all of that. But we're based in Horsham in West Sussex. We're in a hamlet just outside it called Plumbers Plain, and we launched in the first market. And what we always do is come with like a range of rums, because one of the things that we always found is you go to all these like market stalls, which is where we first started out, and if you don't like their product and they've only got one, that's it, done for. You can't come over, you have a sip, you walk off, you're done.
Yeah.
And we went around loads of people. So what we wanted to do was come up with a range. And the reason we wanted to put the 57% out there was you get quite a lot of people who want something a bit bolder, a bit more character, and as a result, it's been actually in the last 2 months, it's been our best seller. So as soon as the weather started to get a bit colder, all of a sudden the sales of it went up and up and up. I think the cinnamon in it, the richness, the fact that it's a little bit Christmassy, everyone was inspired. Or maybe they just feel a personal challenge that it's 57%, so they want to buy the strongest one.
So this says, Navy strength spiced rum created with our intense and delicious golden base infused with notes of vanilla and aromatic tonka bean. So it's flavour profile wise, It's not it's not the same as any, is it? It's not.
No,
It's not the exact same with any of the others. It's his own thing entirely. I was thinking it might be more similar, but it's not to the special breakfast.
it's got, so in terms of crossover, both the special breakfast and 114 have vanilla and tonka bean in them, but the levels are completely different. In special breakfast, the tonka beans put in as like a little tiny supporting note, whereas in 114 it's a real prominent note. Also in 114 you've got the two cardamoms, both green and black, so green giving it a little bit of like the kind of, I don't want to say spice because that's like, it probably reduces it, but the kind of like a little bit more like you feel like you want to say something.
No, this is me going. I get vanilla and tonka towards the end. Like I get the cardamom. Is it the cardamom?
Yeah.
Cardamom,
so the green cardamom being a little bit more maybe herbal is the right word, aromatic.
Aromatic.
Black cardamom giving a little bit more smoke, and then the cinnamon, which is what kind of finishes on your palate, which is the nice warming, which I think is why it's so popular now. It's become cold because everyone loves cinnamon as soon as the weather turns.
Yeah, it's like it's in our blood, in our veins. This has just got a, I don't know. I really like them all. This one has got like it's like heavier. It's got more. It's stronger.
So there's actually you're incredibly right in some degree. So there's this. It's all about what's called a louche point. And the louche point is like if you put any more flavour in it, it'll turn cloudy.
Yeah.
So if it's 57%, the louche point is actually higher. You can infuse more ingredients. You can make it more intense because the alcohol stops it going cloudy. As a result, what we can do with that 57% is we cram more ingredients in there. If you took that 57% rum down to 40%, it would actually kind of cloud up. It wouldn't look as like spectacular in the light. So it's actually got more ingredients infused per bottle than any of the others, and that's what being a 57% lets you do.
It
genuinely is more heavier.
It's heavier. That's it. They are so good. Like I'm gonna applaud you.
Thank you. It's always good to hear it be well received. I think the first time when we were staring at a market a bit glass-eyed, when the first guy went, "Oh yeah, it's lovely," we were like, "Oh, that's a relief." Because you have friends and family tell you that for ages, and we sent it to a few rum reviewers who we always just thought were being kind, but when it was just a person off the street with absolutely no affiliation, no need to feel like they were saying a good thing, when they said yes, that's lovely, I was like, oh, some form of affirmation that we've actually done something right.
Well, but I think what's interesting, and I'm just like lots of the members, I'm a gin drinker, right? And that's been my base, and that's where it's all come from, and that's where Sip and Share was kind of founded. And then rum's been introduced and vodka's been introduced. And so what I love is the fact that I really feel like I'm on a rum journey, and these aren't scary. In fact, because I think you said at the beginning, spiced rum, there's lots of spiced rum out there, and it's the Captain's Morgan's thing, and everyone's like, I just don't like rum, or it's rum and Coke and it's drowned in Coke. But what I really like about this, and I know there's going to be lots of people come to this tasting session, is that it's not scary, because what we actually like is spirits full of flavour and clarity and can hold its own in a mixer or hold its own in a cocktail, and they're great. And I don't want to give them to my husband, because that's often what happens is something new comes in and I'm like, I'm not sure, but these are really good. How would you drink? Sorry, I just want to ask you a question, Callum. Just talk me through mixers, because the mixers are the question. We know what we're doing with gin and tonic, and that's straightforward. Talk me through mixers for each of these, like a standard mixer, because without
we start from where we started. So we're in rum rise. So it's the citrus and the ginger notes in there paired with tonics and lemonades. It's the kind of lighter, fruitier end. Although you can mix it with almost anything, it's pretty universal.
Okay.
Mojo is what I would say. You can do what I call a lazy man's mojito, where you mix with soda, and that's quite a nice, like, easy, refreshing one. Either that or like a light tonic. So you don't want anything into the aromatics, but you could probably do an Indian or a Mediterranean, just something quite simple, and it's quite, then the mint comes through, but you don't drown it out in the mixer.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Also, with that one, I've found it, although it's not to everyone's taste, because I think bitter lemonade, it's a bit of a love or hate situation. Some people really dislike bitter lemonade, but I absolutely love it. But I think it goes really well with the mint in that one. Then
nice idea. Okay, bitter lemon. I've got some bitter lemon downstairs. No tonic, but I have got bitter lemon. So that
there you go. You're off to the races. Special breakfast, I think, is the classic Coke is the best combination. The cacao in there really pairs up well with the sugar and Coke. It in my mind, I don't usually mix my spirits, but I actually do really enjoy mixing that one, and it's come about because of that mixture of the cacao and the sugar and the Coke.
Have you tried that one with, the barrel aged colas that
so
you've got different ones?
I actually have a load of them, and do you know what? I've not mixed them with anything. They've not even been opened. I was given them a while ago, and they've sat on the shelf because, as I can see your shelf in the background, I also have a shelf in my other room, probably not quite to the level of yours, but going the right way. And as a result, I've got so much on there, including a load of different mixers from some really fun places that the barrel aged fancy Cokes haven't actually been opened yet. But I'm excited to try them.
Okay, well, let us know what you think of that, because I know a few members have got the different brands of the barrel aged stuff. Okay, so special breakfast is with Coke.
Yep.
And then the 114.
I think this one goes one of two ways. If you like it to be something that's a summer drink or like a more universal drink, I would mix it just with ginger ale. If you like something a little bit stronger than ginger ale, maybe ginger beer.
Yeah.
There you go. So it really depends on your where you fall on that line. I'm a ginger ale lover. I like it a little bit lighter, a little bit like I guess maybe not as fiery as ginger beer can be, but if you like ginger beer, it also goes really well with that. Or in the winter months, I love making it into like a hot toddy. So just a bit of lemonade. That's wrong. A bit of lemon, hot water, and some honey. I was ill a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, well, this is an opportunity for me to decide that I'm drinking hot toddies all day, and it's an excuse to not the sofa because I feel rotten. Probably not ideal when you're doing it with the 57% rum, because you've had like 3 hot toddies and you're kind of lying there like, am I ill or am I just
my pissed or ill? Now I feel strange and the room's spinning.
Exactly. I really had to put a finger on whether I was feeling worse or better, but whether it was alcohol or actual illness.
We've all been there. We've all been there. Okay, that was really useful. Thank you. What's next then for you? Like, is it just what? Oh, what's arrived in the country? Tell us that. I forgot.
So our still has arrived in the country at long last. So after actually being affected by that entire Suez Canal crisis, and I felt like everyone kind of like watched it on TV like it was a thing. And I was like, oh my god, this is actually affecting me. As I watched as my boat, definitely not my boat, my still on a boat was stuck somewhere in that area of the world. I was like, brilliant. So it's not making its way here because of that. So when that arrives, we're going to start experimenting into vodkas. So Jace has actually made some amazing vodkas. We've got a few of them on the shelf next door for other brands that he's worked for and with. And so he knows what he's doing. And what we want to do is apply the custom spirit idea to vodkas next. The reason for that is that, like rum, vodka's a little bit lawless in some regard. It's not like a London dry gin where you have to put everything in the pot and you can't infuse afterwards and all those kind of things. So he's quite excited to try vodka because he thinks it's an underappreciated spirit. So we're going to apply the same thing with some new flavors to vodka as well.
So there'll be a rum tasting, and then it sounds like you can take us all on a vodka journey when that time comes. Well,
I hope so. I'm excited to do it.
I just trust you guys.
We're also going to experiment into gins as soon as the vodkas are up. So we've kind of got like a year, then an 18-month kind of projection for having vodkas ready. And then because obviously vodka's the constituent into gin, you're basically there. And then it's just a little flick over the hurdle and do into the next thing. But we are thinking about some other cool stuff, including in the rum world. So back to the kind of our roots, so to speak. So we're going to come up with a couple more signatures next year. We've had our eyes on a couple of ideas for a while now, and we're adding more flavors to the library. So an exciting one that became available over the summer temporarily was strawberry. So that's kind of a seasonal one. So we only did it while we could get local strawberries. So we're now trying to come up with, okay, now we want to actually put ourselves on a bit of a regimented schedule to put like some limited flavors in spring, summer, autumn, and winter. So that's going to start at the beginning of next year with kind of a spring coming out early 2022. Essentially, we won't have time to get everything ready for a winter one, so we're kicking the year off right next year.
Yeah, excellent. Well, Lorna and I will get sorted and speak to you about getting a tasting, because
we're really excited for all of that. I sent over the pictures, and we'll be as I mentioned to Lorna, the gift boxes are getting made soon. Hopefully, I've been waiting for them for so long, it seems. I'm really excited to see them, and then we'll get all of it packaged up and ready to go.
Yeah. So what we need everyone to do then, as soon as the gift boxes are ready, is buy a gift box for themselves for the tasting, and a gift box for someone they like, or they love, or they care about. And then we'll do the tasting probably in the new year. Now, I reckon. By this, we'll see. We'll look at timings. And then and give a gift, and then they can buy the full bottles which are on offer, which is amazing. Thank you so much, Callum, for being so generous with that. And go to your website, and they can add tonka, take away, add caramel, add coffee, add orange. And I know you've given us, neither you or I can remember it, but I will find it, a 10% off code for the custom part of Custom Spirit on your website. So I'll get all of that sorted. Oh, thank you, Hayley. Hayley's gorgeous human. I've learned loads, really informative. I really like spiced rum, and we'll check these out. Nice one, Hayley. Please do. All right, Callum. Well, good luck with the still arriving. Fingers crossed it lands safely in the country. And
I hope so.
I hope so too. We will see you next when we get the tasting pack together. And I'm going to go and what should I do? What did I say? What did you say to have downstairs?
You said you had a bit of lemonade. So
I do. Yes, bit of lemonade and Mojo. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
On it.
Big load of ice, and you're off to the races.
Yeah, just put some heels on the dress.
I'll drink that, and I'll finish a little bit more of this. Although I think maybe a little bit more, but it sounds great. Look forward to having this tasting kits make its way to your members.
We can't wait. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks, Callum. We will see you all very soon. Bye. Happy Wednesday. Bye.